Thank you for joining today's virtual conference. My name is Nehal Khosla and I'm your host for today. Dun Bradstreet, in association with Google Cloud and Econz, is glad to present the live fireside chat with Mr. K.N.C Nair, Chief Information Officer, the Muthoot Group, to learn how Muthoot Group deployed Google Workplace and what benefits they have achieved with that. We encourage you to ask more questions in this session, and we request you to please type your queries in the questions section that is given at the bottom of your screens. These will be taken up in the Q&A session that is scheduled at the end of the session today. A couple of tips here. We want to know you more. Hence, we request you to please mention your name and your company name when you post a question. You can also mention the person to whom you're directing your question to. Now, let's take a quick look at the flow of today's session. Please refer the agenda that is displayed on your screens right now. Our speakers for the day are Mr. K.N.C Nair, Chief Information Officer, the Muthoot Group, Ms. Heather Emsley, APAC Head of Collaboration and Productivity, Google Cloud, Mr. Mobi Babu, Chief Executive Officer, Econz IT Services Private Limited, and Mr. Vivek Sharma, Domain Specialist, Dun Bradstreet, India. A promising agenda with an eminent lineup of speakers that we have today. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and thank everyone for being a part of this virtual session today. With that, let's kickstart with the opening speaker of the day. I would like to invite our opening speaker, Mr. Vivek Sharma, Domain Specialist, Dun Bradstreet, India, to set the context of the fireside chat. Welcome, Mr. Sharma.
Thank you, Nehal. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this chat session. We all know that operational efficiency is a key driver of business growth. Technology has been a great enabler of operational efficiency, and that is also known. With the rise of digital workspace, it has become important to enable secure and seamless collaboration across business organizations. Google Workspace helps businesses achieve collaborative culture by seamlessly connecting employees across organizations and enabling business continuity planning, criticality of which has been realized in the post-pandemic world. Today, we have one such business organization to discuss how Google Workspace has transformed its entire business. I am referring to Muthoot Group, which has been able to use Google Workspace to improve productivity and business efficiency and create collaborative culture. With this context, now let us move to the fireside chat, and I would like to invite our speakers for the fireside chat. The first speaker is Ms. Heather Emsley, APAC Head of Collaboration and Productivity, Google Cloud. Welcome, Ms. Emsley. I would also like
Great to be here.
I would also like to invite Mr. K.N.C Nair, Chief Information Officer, the Muthoot Group. Welcome, Mr. Nair.
Thank you.
Over to you, Ms. Emsley.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's fabulous to be here with you. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. And I'm looking forward to a really good conversation today. Welcome, K.N.C. It's really great to have you on the call. Let's maybe start off and learn a little bit more about the Muthoot Group. It's one of the largest conglomerates spanning 133 years. Can you maybe talk a little bit to us about the group's journey since its establishment to becoming one of the largest non-banking global companies?
Okay, as you know, any financial organization can survive and grow only based on trust. And our group, the Muthoot Group, has been endowed with this trust for the last 100 20 or 133 years to be exact. We didn't have any, kind of, blemish on our track record over the last century. And we have built this business over time, and we have become the one of the large NBFC. It is known as the non-banking financial company. We are a big group. We have around 20 varied business divisions, but the flagship operations or the business is that of the gold loan. Actually, our company has been a pioneer in transforming this gold loan into a major source of lending. Lending based on gold has been there in the country for centuries. But basically, it was the forte of small players, the money lenders you can call, and the pawnbrokers. The problem with them is actually, the customers are facing very high rate of interest, and they have concern about the safety and security of the gold, deposited with them. What Muthoot found was, they built a niche on this. They made this gold loan affordable to the common people, and they have actually invested in keeping this gold safe and secure, since gold is as good as cash. So every branch is actually having a very, very high secure, strong room, so that safety feeling is given to the customers. And then over the years, especially last couple of decades, this company has grown exponentially. As you know, that there is a perception in the among public, at least in India, that pledging loan gold is the last resort for anybody, and especially most of India is supposed to have, as per some estimate, 25,000 tons of gold, and hardly 10% of it is actually with the banks or non-banks pledge, monetized, we say. What we have done is actually we made the process very simple, hassle-free for the customer, and attractive. And we have invested in technology at a very high level. We have centralized the entire operations. We have our own core banking solution for the customized for this particular business, and we have centralized customer relationship management, and applied technology everywhere, whether it is transaction processing or the securing this asset, monitoring and follow-up, etc. And we have made this particular experience of taking a loan very simple. I mean, we call it actually, take a gold loan in Muthoot is as good as withdrawing cash from an ATM. Within a few minutes, everything will be completed, and customers are either given cash or the amount is credited in their bank account. It is so simple. And again, we are playing a very major role in the financial inclusion space. In the sense, 70% of our branches are in the rural or semi-urban areas, and our typical loan size, the average ticket size we call, it's around 50,000 rupees, maybe around $700. So most of our customers are actually low income or middle class customers. Over the last few years, we have actually specialized products for the small traders and businessmen, etc., for their working capital requirements, and it has been increasing now. And for meeting their requirement, they need not come to our branches. Our staff will go to their premises or home, wherever it is. We call it actually, a loan at home. Technology is able to enable those kind of transactions in a secure way. We have enabled that, and especially during the last 7-8 months during the pandemic period, where customers are not able to come to the branches, this was worked tremendously. We have substantially increased that. So this our digital initiative tremendously helped us, especially in 2016, when before that 98% of our customers were taking cash from our branches, and the demonetization happened in 2016. That compelled us to move into the digital. We have enabled our customers to get the amount through their bank account by open API with banks, and off late the pandemic period where complete lockdown was there, but still our business was continuing. In fact, we have grown in the last quarter the highest in history. I mean, almost in a quarter we have grown around 25%. The reason is many of the customers are not getting other source of funds, so they are pledging their gold, and so that is briefly about our business. And now more players are coming to in this field. We welcome them so that it benefits everybody.
Great, thank you, K.N.C. It's great to hear about your journey. I must say, as a South African, I understand the importance of gold. And even at the start of COVID, I will admit I did buy some gold shares during that time. So I understand the affinity your company have to that from a security perspective. So you have over 40,000 employees across 5,300 branches. A year ago, they were using different communications technology. That must have been quite something to manage as the CIO. What was the final thing that prompted your decision to move to Google Workspace for your email, communication, work, and other productivity tools?
We were using primarily the email communication channel earlier. And then, of course, for the other communication like face-to-face, we were using different solution for the VC, the video conferencing, etc. But all these solutions were, facing problems in the sense sometimes the mail queue up is not reaching on time. Then sometimes uptime is not as per our requirement. Then what about the archival of all the mails for our record maintenance policy, etc. Then plus if you want to refer this mail from some other one branch particular employee wants to access this mail from somewhere else, you can't. Basically it's a POP3 system we were using. Similarly for the VC. And then these are all standalone systems. There is no way of collaborating each other. So that was the problem we faced. And plus maintaining the infrastructure, people are needed for maintaining and managing this. The size of these voluminous mails, etc. And plus the most important thing is the data security. This is a very fiercely competitive business. Sometimes the internal threats are there for the customer data. So we had to ensure that this is highly secure. That if somebody extract some of the good customers and send an email, that is against the security policy, and it will affect our business. So we had to ensure the security. And then that is where we were looking for an integrated solution, an intelligent, reputed, well-tested, integrated solution. Our IT team did a POC for each of these top solutions, and we have evaluated that. And finally, we found that the Google Suite, now the Google Workspace, meet our requirement, most of it. So that is how we started using that.
Well, thank you again for your commitment to our platform. So how did the Google Workspace deployment help the group? Were there some key outcomes that you didn't expect, or out of the solution that came about?
Definitely, it was. First of all, we have actually created awareness among our employees. That was our first effort. We told them this is actually a major transformation. After the core banking solution introduced in the company, we thought this is the next kind of transformation in the company. And this is actually the collaboration which available in this package will be a transformative thing. And then, of course, the learning will not be difficult, since most of the people are anyway used to using Gmail, so the interface is same. And we have actually trained. We have created some champions among our departments and regions. Through them we have actually educated the others, and then of course we implemented that. And then I should say this has been extremely useful for our people and our company, especially we started this in Jan actually. Within a couple of months, this lockdown was announced in the country, and we were not allowed to operate in most of the states. But still, our people were able to communicate, and we were able to continue the business continuity, and then collaborate. Especially the Google Meet, I should say, was extensively used by our people. So it was a good experience. It was a lot of value addition by this solution to us.
Fantastic. That's great. I mean, it might seem simple, but there's some of the key things we always tell customers. The familiarity of Gmail, because people use it. The collaboration capability is one of my favorites. And then obviously Meet has played such a big role in the last while. So thank you for that. What kind of cultural change has the group gone through over the last couple of months?
As I mentioned, it enabled collaboration among employees, and now in an industry like financial services, as you know, information is our input or ingredient for our business. So now this information has to be collected, compiled, shared in a very secure way. Information is actually through the data and through the tacit knowledge also. So what we found was these tools available in the Google Workspace, like it's an integrated system. So if I want to share a particular file, I can use Google Doc, and or if I want to call somebody, I can click, or I can maybe I can use chat instead, which will be much more fast and productive. And then, of course, Google Drive has been extremely useful for us to securely share our information, especially with respect to customers, as I mentioned. It should not be accessible to outsiders. So Google Drive is actually tremendously helping us, and of course through the Google Meet, as I explained. So these combined helped us, our team, and the team building and team spirit to us actually built through this particular transformative solution. And now people are finding various kind of innovative way of collecting information. For example, some of them are using this Google Forms from the field or from the branches to collect some information and compile. That kind of innovative. We leave it to the people. They are exploring and they are coming out with some of the users. So overall, it was very, very value added kind of experience we got.
I love how you're letting the users play and explore some of the features. I think that's a great way to foster innovation in a company. So that's really awesome.
Okay.
So you touched on this briefly, but we live in an age where data is considered wealth. a financial services sector company, there must be loads of data in your organization. How has this deployment helped you, as well as and our partner Econz, helped the Muthoot Group really improve its business outcomes without compromising data security?
Yeah, when we started implementing the Google solution, the major challenge was actually we had a lot of old data, huge files of, last so many years, each individual was having in their inbox. Now, how to actually migrate this and reuse it, that was a challenge for us. Our partner, Google partner, Econz, handholded us and they guided us in this, and along with our IT team members, we made a program. We trained the trainers, and these trainers in turn, went to these, individual users and helped them in extracting those data and centralize it and migrate to the new system. So that way we could archive a lot of voluminous data, and in future also the being an intelligent cloud-based solution, we find that we will be able to use our large data in the cloud, which we can search it and we can restore it much faster compared to earlier. And for any investigative purpose also, we will be able to retrieve this information very fast. So that way, I would say one is the large volume of the data, another is the security. In both the angles, the solution is actually helping us.
Great, thank you very much. So you've answered some of what was my next question about how is collaboration supposed to help you in this new normal. So maybe if you can just share with me a little bit of what's next for the Muthoot Group in terms of this this journey with Google.
We find that a lot of functionalities are there in the these Google Workspace. Basically, our kind of employees, they are not very IT savvy, in the branches at the, where the branches is where they are interacting with the customers, etc. Maybe at our offices, our headquarters or regional offices, people are very IT savvy, but need not be at the branch level. So educating them to use this solution, the potential of the solution, and explore all the features and adopt, whichever is useful for the company and for the employees. That is the our next mission. And in that respect, I should say that ultimately we will actually stop sending these attachments, to the normal mails. Ultimately, we would like to have at least 90% of it in the Google Drive itself, so that we can ensure much higher level of security. And similarly, for the collaboration at the next level, we expect these, some of these Google Forms, as I mentioned there, some of them can be reused by our various business lines. Maybe it was explored by some particular group, which we will extend it, standardize it to others. Similarly, we have actually not much used the integration of our applications with the Google Workspace. We have many internal applications. We found that it can be integrated seamlessly with this and communicate with our customers. So that we will be exploring in the near future. Then similarly, the app script, not much has been used so far. We plan to use it in this quarter, many of the functionalities, and enhance the customer experience and achieve a higher level of productivity within the company. So,
thank you very much, K.N.C, and thanks for sharing the journey of the Muthoot Group. It's been awesome to hear that what started off mainly as just a consolidation exercise with different tools, bringing together email and things like chat onto one group, you've been able to use so much more of the Google platform, and we've really loved partnering with you. So I want to thank you. Thank you for your commitment, and I hope for a longer partnership as we continue. With that, I'm now going to hand back to Vivek, who will continue the fireside chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I must say that it was a truly enlightening discussion that we had just now, and a lot of interesting aspects came out from the discussion. We got to know about how Muthoot Group has been able to use technology effectively for the entire processing of the gold loan. We got to know some of the interesting aspects, like what were the challenges that the group was facing before it had migrated to Google Workspace, like a lot of standalone systems which were there. And data security was also one of the concern which was existing before the movement to Google Workspace happened. So the company has hugely benefited. Mr. Nair mentioned about how Google Meet was very helpful during the lockdown and how it helped carry them out the business even during challenging times. The collaboration among employees has increased significantly, as was also highlighted during discussion. And we also got to know about how Google Drive has helped the business very effectively. And the most interesting thing that I came across was innovative ways of collecting data that the organization has been able to achieve. And they have also got a plan for the future, which means the journey for the future is also, the roadmap for the future is also in place. One interesting thing that we came across during the discussion was the role of the partner in this entire migration process, if I could call it. And it was very obvious that a partner has a very important role to play in this entire aspect. So with that background, may I now invite Mr. Mobby Babu, Chief Executive Officer, Econz IT Services Private Limited, to share his thoughts.
Good evening, all of you, and thank you, Vivek, for the introductions. Let me share my screen now. Thank you, Heather, for leading the discussions with Mr. K.N.C Nair. And I would also like to thank Mr. Nair himself for the support he has given and extended to our team for the entire work transformation. Coming to Muthoot, yes, Muthoot is one of our premium customer, and we are very proud to have Muthoot as taken this initiative, and we being one of the major partner to initiate this particular process. And coming to this entire migrations, just imagine moving 40,000 employees, 15,000 plus users, 5,300 different locations, varied culture, different languages, and connecting multiple stakeholders and even end users. It was definitely a Herculean task, and it was all the more being a financial vertical, it was even more very challenging for us. And with the continued support of Google and Google team members and Muthoot, we have successfully accomplished this in a span of 6 months. We look forward to integrating and automating other Google cloud services and open up the plethora of benefits in our GCP environment as well. Coming to our organization, yes, we have been in the industry for the last 13 years now, with a promising year-on-year growth of 100% plus. Looking at our presence, we are very strong in the southern India market, and this reminds me one of the conversation which I had with one of our prospective customer, who interestingly mentioned that any logo in Kerala has an association with Econz, and wondered if I had missed any if we had missed any logos as such. When it comes to people, yes, we are very passionate about technology and the skill set. We would like to call ourselves as small giants, and we intend to be a great company and with great people and great culture, as I believe it's not always about being big. Beside this, our progressive efforts is also towards building a center of excellence around technology. Coming to process, our process is directly aligned with the vision of our organization. One of the key aspects which we have highlighted in our effort is that we have brought in Econz 3.0 version, which is more driven by process implementation. We have embedded core processes across functional levels that helps capture all our efforts, be it from initial customer mapping to progressive customer engagements. Coming to the solutions part, we as an organization have evolved over a period of time and have made changes in our product and services. Some of them, like being LMS, which has been widely used by a couple of our large enterprise customers, lead management system, and of course SSO that focuses on security, to single sign-on. Then while in Google for Workspace, we are also evolving our capabilities in GCP as well. And we have a very strong competency which has been built around Google Workspace and Chrome Enterprise. I believe we have witnessed a growing need in collaboration tools, especially in educational sector, and have reached out to help institution also embark on this journey by empowering its stakeholders. Along with that, we also have advisory and professional services, which is mainly focused on enterprise cloud consulting and migration and deployment. We've been discussing about this Google Workspace. Most of us are aware that Google renamed G Suite to Google Workspace. This thoughtful move clearly emphasizes that work is no more being in a physical place. And even the researchers have stated that COVID-19, post-COVID-19, more than 48% of work may transform itself to become remote. And everything what you need today for your work is actually available in one place right now. And it is very hard for me to capture the entirety of Google Workspace just in this presentation. But however, we know that 2.6 billion users and 6 million businesses use Google Workspace today. And the features, the advantages and benefits can go on. But in a nutshell, the key highlights that it brings to a business is basically, you can see here, that is communication, collaboration, control, and security. So everything is in under one place. And that is where Google Workspace is all about. And the flexibility and the collaboration is the key for most of the customers. As Mr. Nair mentioned in his conversation, that he's using Meet, especially during the pandemic. Meet has helped them a lot. So that is one of the major things. And they are also using very innovative things like forms. We are also working in collaboration with Muthoot right now in terms of identifying the possibility of various integration and automation. And that is something which we are working on. So coming back to the Econz way, basically, we are very defined when it comes to auditing the customer requirements, and we are having a very robust processes in terms of mapping the entire journey. See, one of the initiative which we have recently implemented is the quarterly business review, and which has become very effective, I would say. And most of the customers, we always include the C-level executives for the QBR, so that we will review the past and what is our future for the next quarter. So it has become a very popular, especially in our backend team, it has become very popular, and most of the customers are appreciating this initiative. The other thing which I would like to highlight, I think you would have seen in the beginning of the presentation, the mascot that we call it as Eco, who acts as an animated voice of Econz in sharing the tips and tricks and other digital nuances that has also impressed a few of our customers. Just moving to our clientele, Of course, you can see the big elephant, that is the Muthoot Group, and we have a blend of legacy and new age organizations, which shows which actually shows that our cloud tribe is increasing exponentially. And one of the key aspects which I would like to highlight here is that most of the customers actually, they personally come and say that they really enjoy working with Google because of the Google ecosystem, and in which there is more flexibility and innovation. And that is something you can see the logos here. You can see the POC, one of the largest POCs like REC, that is a Rural Electrification Corporation. We have all the media houses. You name any logo in the South, you can see us always, and that is also something which is we are very proud of, and we would like to increase this tribe, in the coming days. As I sign off, and I thank the Google team for having conducted this fireside chat. We look forward to onboard and grow our cloud tribe by giving us the opportunity to serve you. And thank you so much. And over to you, Vivek.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babu. That was a very insightful session. With that, we'll come to the question and answer round. This is Nehal again, your host for today. So we have a couple of questions that have come in from Mr. Nair, Heather, and Mr. Mobi, of course. So I'll pose the first question to Mr. Nair. Sir, I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, sir. So the question for you that has come in is, did you face any challenges with change management when implementing G Suite? How did you go about managing it?
Yeah, one challenge which I mentioned was about the voluminous files, the data we had at the time of migration, migrating to the new solution. That was one challenge which Econz helped us in that. And next is actually getting the best out of this Google Suite functionalities. For example, we wanted to standardize our word processing, then the presentation, as well as the number crunching solution like Excel to slides, and then Doc to Google Doc, and presentation PPT to our slides. Sorry, yeah, Excel to sheet, and then PPT to slide, so that this can be used simultaneously. People can actually share the data in a secure way using G Drive, etc. So we are on that process. I can't say we are 100% success now. We started it slowly. People are adapting. The change to the new system. People are all very well familiar with the Word, Excel kind of thing. So it will take some time. Now, slowly it is changing. That is one of the challenges we are facing now. But otherwise, this is really good. I mean, all the functionalities, simplicity, ease of use, and high uptime, all those things are really good.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Nair. Thank you so much. I have the next question for Heather. Heather, I hope you can hear me well.
I can hear you.
Great. So the next question is, does G Suite comply with security standards for highly regulated industries such as financial services?
So we do have some financial services customers currently using our platform. I think we've been working with RBI just to try and understand a little bit more with what is required, because it seems like some of that's changing, but there are solutions in place, third party, that are helping some of our customers comply. So we've got other financial services companies other than Muthoot Group, L&T Financial Services. We've got some of the HDFC insurance groups on our platform. ICICI Bank are using it to some degree. So we do have some banking customers already in India using the platform.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather, for answering that. I'll come back to you with the next question. But first, I'd like to put the third question to Mr. Mobi Babu. The question for you is what is the typical duration for a migration from existing solution to G Suite? Mr. Babu, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes.
It purely depends on so many factors. You cannot just say that this much is a timeline. However, it depends on the data size, the complexity. So if you look at, we are talking about 40,000 employees, then 5,000 plus branches, 15,000 plus users. So it depends on what platform they are and how difficult, how much of data has to be moved. So typically, this kind of a migration, I would say that we would have taken around 3 to 4 months. But it took, to be very honest, it should be around 4 to 5 months would have taken for the entire migration. But however, it again depends on the complexity. If the person wants to migrate the full data only, there is a challenge. Otherwise, they can immediately start off working. It's not necessary that you should move your legacy data immediately to G Suite SH or Google Workspace. Maybe you can still start functioning immediately by just changing the MX record. So it depends on the customer's requirement. Then sometimes it is not necessary that you need to also migrate around 10 years data and put it there, which people are not using it also. But this can be done very slowly as well. So it all depends on a lot of factors, and there are multiple factors are involved in it.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Babu, for taking that up. The next question that I have coming in is again for Heather. Heather, the next question is, can we use other solutions from G Suite like Drive, Calendar, and Meet while retaining email services from our existing application?
We do have some customers that are running hybrid. So the calendar piece, we just need to make sure that you're getting the full area of functionality that you'd want, because of just the way it depends on what interface also you're using for your mail, if you're using, for instance, Exchange, etc. So we can work through that scenario, but yes, you can use it in conjunction with another mail service. Obviously, it's not our best practice, but we do have customers that are doing that today.
Great. Thank you so much for taking that, Heather. The next question is that I have is for Mr. Babu again. So, Movi, the question to you is: Do you ever meet any security flaw? If so, please explain managing practice.
See, technically, when we do the POC, we will also ensure that every bit is taken care of. So, as much as possible, we are trying to make everything foolproof. And we also do a security auditing prior to any of our migrations. So, that also ensures that we are not in a flaw as such, and there won't be surprises as such, because definitely we have the expertise in understanding especially now with the Muthoot migration, the financial services part, we have that expertise and learning now. So as such, we didn't face any much of surprises. But however, there were initially when we were looking at user migrations, each and every user had an MX record, which actually made a little challenging in terms of migrating the Muthoot piece. But however, we were aware of it and then we could manage it. So otherwise, there is always a precaution which has been taken care of so that there are no surprises, in fact.
Great. Movi, I have one more question for you. That is, we are from the power sector organization. How is workspace relevant for us? That is from one of our audience. So, yeah.
Can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you properly.
Sure. Yeah, the question is, we are from the power sector organization. How is workspace relevant for us?
So power sector, I was mentioning about Rural Electrification Corporation, right? So they are already using it. Definitely, we can actually, the person who has raised the question, he can actually share his details to us. We can give a case study around it on the, power sector, and which is really going to help them, because Rural Electrification Corporation has been using this from the last 2-3 years right now, and we have a very good case study which we can showcase to them. which is definitely collaboration. Every feature of Google Workspace is definitely going to help them.
Do you mind if I just weigh in a little bit here? So I think one of the things, and I don't know your business well at all, but one of the areas that we've seen Workspace really work well is in field services. And I assume you've got a lot of people that are out inspecting various power plants or power type facilities. So an industry use case would be to use Meet to connect back into either knowledge experts, engineers, to really share that knowledge in real time to resolve problems or solve issues at stations. But I'm just putting that out there. I'm not familiar with your business, so I'm not sure if you have a large field services work, but that's one of the things that we have seen.
Great. Thank you, Movi, and thank you, Heather, for adding on to that. In fact, the next question that I have is for Heather. So, it says during the lockdown, how easy or difficult is it for any organization to move to G Suite now that everyone is working remotely?
Sorry about that. Actually, we've had a couple of customers moving across to Google Workspace, or G Suite as it was known a couple of months ago during this lockdown. I'm going to quote another customer. So most of you may be familiar with K.N.C Group. K.N.C Group took the decision in March this year to move off their on-premise solutions onto G Suite. They were able to migrate and move everyone within a couple of months, and we're leveraging the various technologies to be working with and doing everything remotely. So they did user adoption remotely, they did the implementation remotely. So we had to definitely stretch and do things differently, but we have had customers that have moved during that time. So that's just a full-blown G Suite implementation. We've also had other companies when we made Google Meet available for free for everyone. That trial has ended, but at that time, many companies didn't have conferencing solutions, and we were able to provision and get them up and running within a matter of days. So it isn't that difficult to do in a remote environment.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather. With that, I come to an end to all the questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for posting your questions. And with that, I would like to thank our speakers for the day, Mr. K.N.C Nair, Ms. Heather Emsley, and Mr. Mobi Babu, for a very insightful session, truly valuable takeaways from this session. A special thanks to Mr. Vivek Sharma for summarizing the Fireside chat discussion as well. With that, I would like to close today's session. Today's session wouldn't have been a success without the active participation of all our esteemed speakers and you, dear delegates. I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking our time and being a part of this virtual event today. A special thanks to Google Cloud and Econz for the support in this initiative, without whom this conference wouldn't have been possible. With this, I'll bring today's virtual session to a close. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.